I'm Batman. Where is he? Where is he? Swear to me. Okay. Not that Batman. We're talking about the Matt Reeves Batman. Robert Pattinson putting on that cow. I've seen this movie twice now, and you know what? It's pretty damn good. It's got some holes in it, but let's talk about it. One thing to not forget about this film is this is a young Batman. This is like after year one or something like that. So he behaves young. That's one thing that I had a hard time with my first time around. That's how you know they're starting like a series or whatever of these films. I know there's gonna be a second one because they went really young with it. Robert Pattinson, he's such a phenomenal actor. I fully trusted in his skills as soon as I heard he was gonna be Batman, and he pays off very well. But again, he plays kind of a young, almost naive, almost incel kind of a Batman. There's points where he's kind of macking on Selena over here, and then he gets the slightest whiff that she's with another dude, and he just freaks out and thinks of her as a kind of a hoe and all that stuff. They've only known each other for like a few days too. The whole course of this movie goes, I think, just like a span of like a week or so. It's not even that long of a time period. Great mystery though. Riddler, he's pretty good. Paul Dano, he's fantastic. Colin Farrell's fantastic as the Penguin. Definitely a great watch. I recommend it. Now, here we go with some spoilers. So get out if you don't want to hear any spoilers. All right. What works about the Riddler here isn't the outfit necessarily, it's what he's trying to do. This is a revenge story of sorts, and the Riddler is pissed off. And you know what? Rightfully so. I think that's what's cool about his character is the reason why he's pissed off kind of makes sense. To be honest with you, they've the Wayne family, they make this what do you call it, this fund, this trust fund to fund a bunch of stuff, but including a bunch of uh, things for these orphan kids, like housing, whatever kind of a thing. When the Wayne family dies, the parents die, all that just goes to shit, and these orphan kids are basically left to fend for themselves, and it's really, 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 really shitty. He doesn't like Bruce Wayne because he was also an orphan, but a rich orphan. That got me thinking. I do see his point, right? It's one thing when you got this famous kid being an orphan, like it's sad. It's internationally sad, right? Globally sad even. But if you're just some kid, nobody knows who your parents are or whatever, you just get forgotten. You get swept under the rug, and you know, understandably, he's pissed off about it. I don't know exactly how true it is to the Riddler lore. I did hear this is a version of him, so correct me if I'm wrong with any of that. But his motivation is great. That leads into the murders. How he kills people here, especially like I think like the first at least couple, very vicious. A lot of anger, something I didn't expect to see from the Riddler. But everybody he tries to kill, except for Bruce Wayne, really, makes sense. Like, all right, like fuck that guy. Oh, fuck that guy too. It's one of those kind of films where you actually kind of root for him in a way. It's kind of interesting. I didn't expect that from a Batman film. A lot of the Batman stories I've seen, you root for Batman. You know what I mean? But this one, I was kind of in his corner. Batman kind of plays, in a sense, at least for part of the movie, kind of an antagonist because he's just so like straight laced at first. He's so like, this is the criminal element. They can't do any kind of crimes at all. Anything bad is against the law. Fuck those people. Kind of a mentality. And I mean, he's badass while doing it, almost psychopathically so. Dude's like insane. I gotta say, Robert Pattinson's great at going the distance. You should watch some of his movies if you haven't. Check out The Lighthouse. But this one, he goes pretty. You could see Batman being locked up in Arkham Asylum with everybody else. Is what I'm getting at. There's times where he's just picking fights with whole groups of cops in the police station. He's just young. Colin Farrell is the Penguin. You don't even realize that's Colin Farrell. I just want to say his role in there was so good they made a spin-off TV show. I don't know if it's already out or if it's coming out, but I'd watch it. Colin Farrell's fantastic, but this film, he's on another level. It's unimaginable how good his skill is if you haven't seen it until you've seen this. He's a different person. He's what acting is. A lot of the time you see actors, like you see like a Denzel or you see like a Brad Pitt or you see like a Sandra Bullock. I love all three of them, but you know who they are when you see the film, right? Colin Farrell, again, you have no idea this is Colin Farrell. He just murders it. Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman. So here's the interesting thing about her, in my opinion. Uh, she is fantastic in her role, but I don't know how I feel about her character's story arc and how it interweaves with everything. There's a sense of too much convenience in this film. Her family is directly connected to the Wayne family, and all this is connected to the Riddler. It's all very well intertwined, and that part it takes me a little bit out of the immersion. If it wasn't for that, I'd say she was a knockout performance in here. She's great. She looks great. She's got the mentality. She's got just the perfect kind of charisma. She looks like she's beautiful in one moment and she can kick your ass the next. That's Catwoman. I think she does. Another thing that's weird though is their relationship. They like each other, right? They again they've only been knowing each other for days, like not even a full week, and they're definitely quite smitten with each other, which is cool. I've always enjoyed the Catwoman Batman romance. It's fun. It's a nice contrast, nice yin and yang kind of a thing between them, right? I liked it in the Nolan movies. I like seeing it in all the comic stories and cartoons and whatnot. But here, it's great, but they're young. So you kind of have to deal a little bit with that young, teeny kind of trope stuff with them. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that in the Batman movie. It's a little too childish, but their overall relationship is something I root for still. I want to see them grow more. I can't wait to see them more in the second movie if she's going to be there. They're fun to see together. John Turturro as Falcone. Okay, uh, sleeper performance here. You talk about Colin Farrell as Penguin. John Turturro, that man. You usually see him in funny roles, except for if you see him in Secret Window, right? When you see John Turturro in this movie, think Secret Window. He's dark here. He's menacing. He feels like a crime boss. He's a guy with secrets. He's like, I don't know. He's somebody that you can just tell nobody wants to mess with. More spoilers here, so I'm gonna get a little deeper. So if you want to jump out, jump out. Uh, you find out in the movie that Falcone is actually supposed to be Selena's father, right? What's interesting about it is how do I put it? Throughout the movie, there's like this sense that he's into her. He doesn't know that she's his daughter. When I first saw this, I was confused by that because I was like, does he know? Doesn't he know? I kept going back and forth because his vibes toward her were into you vibes, but she was giving him kind of a different kind of a feel. Batman took it a little different, took a little incel there. Why are you around him? Kind of a thing. But you find out later he's her dad, and she hates him because, well, she finds out that he might have had something to do with her mom's death. It's all very tightly convenient, but everybody's so wonderful in this dynamic I'm describing. I didn't care. I could see that movie 1,000 times, and I still love their performances so much. I kind of look past it. This is definitely more of a detective Batman rather than an action movie Batman. There are action sequences in there, but I really like the detective aspect. I really like that Riddler's kind of leading Batman by the nose through a lot of it, and I like that in the end. As we know about Riddler, his ego is kind of his downfall. A lot of great puzzles, a lot of great riddles, a lot of great fun. Really, I like the dynamic between Riddler and Batman, and I really like the outcome at the end of this movie. More spoilers here. I like that Riddler, he kind of wins. It really, I mean, he loses. He's locked up at the end of this film. He's in Arkham Asylum, but the damage he's done is massive. It's darn near irreparable. He floods the whole city and he kills a bunch of high up officials, dirty officials. He pretty much accomplishes his goal. Except for two people he tried to kill, which is Bruce Wayne and actually a good senator woman, I think Senator May or whatever. People who actually didn't deserve to die didn't die, which is, I think a win. I think he did great. Last thought. One scene that doesn't make sense to me. There's a car scene in here, a car chase scene. Batman is chasing Penguin, right? And they're just ripping through the highway, destroying all kind of stuff. There's a point where Penguin makes this big old explosion happen, and Batman drives through it and up over, and then makes the Penguin flip over. You've seen it in the trailer, right? It's weird because it's a big ass explosion. Nobody's evacuated, so you just kind of assume everybody's dead. But they kind of gloss over all that. Like, oh, this big explosion happened. Everybody's fine. I find that weird. That's my last thought, though. Let me know what you think of this movie. And yeah, I'll talk to you later.